My chest hurts. The pain stings.
The man you just witnessed earlier died due to cardiac arrest. But what is cardiac arrest? We need to understand the heart first. We will be discussing the cardiovascular system. Familiarity. What do you usually associate with the cardiovascular system? Let's define them. Blood is often referred to the river of life and is a type of tissue. The heart is a muscular organ about the size of a fist and is located just behind the breastbone and is the one responsible for pumping your blood, which sounds like lub-dub. Blood vessels are the pipe system of the cardiovascular system. This is where the blood flows. Now that you're refreshed with the basics, let's dig in deeper. Blood is the red liquid that gushes out of your body every time you're cut or scratched. The blood is red because of the protein called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is an iron-containing molecule where oxygen binds to. Oxygen is an ingredient necessary for energy. It has solid and liquid components. The plasma constitutes the liquid at 55% and the remaining is called the formed elements. Let's talk about the plasma. There are four main constituents of the plasma. 90% of it is just water. Think of it as the carrier of the goodies. Next are salts, which are also referred as electrolytes. There's also what we call plasma proteins. You might have seen these terms in one of your lab results. Last are called substances. They're random essential gunk that can be utilized or eliminated. Formed elements, on the other hand, are also known as cells. There are three main cell types present. Erythrocytes or red blood cells are the main reason why the blood is red. Leukocytes are the avengers of our body. They slay down enemies and pretty much defend everyone else from invaders. Platelets or thrombocytes keep you from bleeding out as they are responsible for blood clotting. You might be wondering how they were able to separate blood into their liquid and solid components. Blood fractionation is the use of centrifugal force by shaking the blood at a fast rate. Let's move over to blood vessels. The blood needs to go through pipes which are formally known as the vascular system. The tubes are collectively known as blood vessels. Here's how the blood travels and gets distributed around the body in a nutshell. You might be wondering what exactly blood vessels are made of. Tunica intima is a thin layer of endothelium which rests on a basement membrane. Tunica media is the middle layer made up of smooth muscle and elastic fibers. Tunica externa is the outermost layer. It is made up of fibrous connective tissue and it supports and protects the vessels. Always remember, arteries contain oxygenated blood, while veins, which are usually colored blue, contain deoxygenated blood. Let's talk about the heart. The heart pumps the blood to deliver the goods and carry out the waste through the blood vessels. It is located between the lungs behind the sternum and above the diaphragm. The heart wall is divided into three layers: the epicardium or the outer protective layer, the myocardium or the muscular middle layer, and the endocardium or the inner layer of the heart. It is also composed of connective tissue, endothelium, and cardiac muscle. The cardiac muscle enables the heart to contract and allows for the synchronization of heartbeat. In humans, the heart is roughly the size of a large fist and weighs about 280 to 340 grams in men and 230 to 280 grams in women. The human heart has four chambers: two upper ones, the atria, and two lower ones, the ventricles. The right atrium and right ventricle and the left atrium and the left ventricle make up the right heart and left heart respectively. These two hearts are then separated by a wall of muscle called the septum. The tricuspid and mitral valve make up the atrioventricular or AV valves, which connect the atria and the ventricles, while the pulmonary semilunar valve separates the right ventricle from the pulmonary artery, and the aortic valve separates the left ventricle from the aorta. The heartstrings, or chordae tendineae, anchor the valves to the muscles. There are two main types of blood circulation: the systemic and the pulmonary circulation. Systemic circulation is the movement of blood from the heart through the body to provide oxygen and nutrients to the tissues of the body, while bringing the oxygenated blood back to the heart. The oxygenated blood passes through the superior and inferior vena cava. Blood rushes through the right atrium, then fills up the right ventricle after passing through the tricuspid valve. The blood then rushes to the pulmonary arteries through the pulmonary semilunar valve. The blood will then enter the lungs and shall undergo pulmonary circulation, responsible for the gas exchange. Oxygenated blood enters the left atrium from the pulmonary veins. The blood is then pumped to the mitral valve to the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, blood is pumped to the aortic valve into the aorta, the body's largest artery. The man you just witnessed earlier died due to cardiac arrest. But what is cardiac arrest? We need to understand the heart first. Let's go back to what happened to the man earlier. He died of cardiac arrest. Cardiac refers to the heart. Arrest means stop. The man died because his heart stopped. Let's remember that the function of the heart is to pump blood out. Without the blood moving along the blood vessels, there would be no exchange of gases, resulting in death. Can this be treated or be employed immediate help? In cardiac arrest, death can result quickly if proper CPR or cardiopulmonary resuscitation is not performed and the unavailability of a defibrillator. This is used to shock the heart and restore a normal heart rhythm within a few minutes. Thank you for listening, and I hope you find this beneficial.